Hello, my name is Keith Marsh. I'm the Secretary of Brackham Golf Club, and I want to thank you for watching this short video. The Council met only on Thursday the 21st of January. This was the Council Committee linked in with tourism. Now, as you may be aware, the Council are undertaking a budget consultation because they are £16.5 million short on their budget. Part of that is a review of the golf courses, and whilst we're not taking anything away from the other services, obviously our interest is in the golf courses and their survival. So I'm going to come in at certain parts during this just to clarify certain points from our point of view, and I appreciate you watching the whole of the clip.
What I'm going to do now is move on to the review of the golf courses, the saving of £273,000. Now, it's important to state that this isn't closure of the golf courses, but a review. This wasn't an option that committee put forward, but it's something P&R wanted to consider.
So let me just get this correct. The Tourism Committee, which is involved in golf, were not consulted prior to this going on to a budget consultation. It was the P&R Committee that took that decision, and the councillors that were on the Tourism Committee knew nothing about it.
I know nothing. What? I know nothing. No. Nothing. No, forget that. No,
It's been brought to my attention that Hoylake Golf Course cannot be put into that saving for various reasons. Can we just confirm that's the case and the reasons why? I don't know if Andy McCall wants to comment on that, or Mr. McCord.
Well, before they comment, I'm quite happy to comment. We did ask for the figures to scrutinise whether 273,000 would actually be a saving, and all four golf courses was the narrative that was used in the budget consultation. We asked for the figures, we were refused these figures so we could scrutinise them. However, we were told to use the narrative. It now appears that the narrative is actually incorrect. They are not planning on closing, and never were, all four golf courses.
I don't believe it!
Yeah, I'm sure Andy can give some more detail, Chair, but in short, that golf course was part of the development agreement that was signed in 2016, and that runs for another few years, and so the council is obliged to make that available for any call upon it under that agreement.
Well, I'm not quite sure what this agreement is that Mr. McCourt refers to. I can only assume he's referring to the Celtic Manor Resort that was so fiercely opposed to, not only because of the use of the land, but also the destruction of the greenbelt, and of course, building of another golf course on the Wirral, something that the Wirral really does not need.
And if we disposed of it before the end of that agreement, we will be required to pay any profit costs, whether or not it was ever really used.
Do you want to add anything to that, Andy?
Yes, Chair. Similarly, it's also within the provisions for the hosted 2023 Open Golf Championship. So it's used as a practice course, and that's a part of the agreement with the RNA for them hosting the competition at the Royal Liverpool.
So let me get this straight. The only reason that you are keeping open Hoylake is to ensure that the Open Championship returning in 2023 to Royal Liverpool can be envisaged. Not for a service for the people of Wirral, not for the service for golfers of the Wirral. It is just a financial issue to do with the Open Championship. Is that correct?
Okay. Are there any other golf courses that might affect that? Or is it just Hoylake?
It's just Hoylake, Chair.
Okay. So I see DVC hands up. So that saving then can't be realised of 273,000. So do we have a revised figure? Do you want me to come back to it or take another question? Or?
Yes, please, Chair. I'll just bring up some.
Okay. We'll come back to that. Councillor Williams and then Councillor Cameron.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. Yeah, in relation to the golf courses, I would just like to highlight my dismay at what's happened over this. Now, as you know, Tom, last year you, as I think, were chair of the Environmental Committee that spent a large proportion of the year putting forward excellent proposals for the future of our golf courses. And you spent, all the committee, and Christina, my colleague, who spent a massive amount of time to move things forward after all sorts of difficult circumstances. So here we are, and suddenly there's a proposal for another consultation straight after this lengthy consultation of 7 months. Again, we're not consulted as a committee, which is just, really regrettable to say the least. I would also like to highlight the importance of Brackenwood Golf Course now. As you know, it's of increased importance because of the archaeological finds by Claremont Farm and its proximity, and it is now a key area for future research. But I'm just, the way that these items have been put onto us, and again, we're not getting the clarity and detail that we need to make decisions like this. And, it's just extremely frustrating and regrettable. And, when someone called me and said, do you realise such and such, and there's a new issue about savings, a new focal point for to have an investigation into the future of the golf courses. And I'm thinking to myself, we haven't discussed this. Have I missed something on the committee or something? What's happened here? Well, of course, we were never consulted in the first place. And again, I want to really highlight the issue again. This is this new committee system that everyone that I served on in 1996 to 2000 that is so wonderful and so singing and dancing. And here we are with major problems because of it. And again, I would like to highlight that. I also have a proposal towards the end from a point of view of alternative suggestions for funding, which I'd like to bring forward, but I can deal with that later on, Tom. And appreciate all the work that you did on that committee and all my colleagues with that. Well, the excellent work you did on the golf, on that golf report. Thank you.
No, thanks, Jeff.
And we have to agree with Councillor Williams's comments. Councillor Anderson did do a great job. Very, very thorough when we went round all of the golf courses and spoke to all stakeholders, including employees, clubs, users, and of course the public as well. And that was important. However, this seems to have gone unnoticed.
No, thanks, Jerry. I completely agree on the golf review. It was only last year that we did an extensive consultation exercise and review of golf courses. And in my view, it's unfortunate that we are, again, considering them at this point. So I would like to see it actualised before we move on. Councillor Cameron.
Yes, thank you. Obviously, I don't remember the committee system first time round, but I certainly wasn't a member of the cabinet. So this is more information than I've ever had, the committee system.
It's true.
I also was on that call-in. I did go around all the golf courses. We did look at this in great detail. I did have concerns at the time about the 273,000 and whether it was reality in the savings. So obviously the Open's been mentioned. I was there at 2006, 2014, and yes, Hoylake as a course is used. But on the other municipal courses, one of the reasons why they are attractive to potentially other operators is because we have the Open. So if they can see that wanting to take these over would be better done, 2023 it is now, because obviously it had to be postponed. Surely we can then generate some income. I think there was, in 2014, I think there was about something like 200,000 visitors spending 20 million in 1 week of the Open on hospitality. And so therefore all of the municipal clubs have always got, municipal courses have got a chance to do stuff along with the clubs. So I've not seen anything around all the tri-golf that was done, all of the involvement of the schools programs. This must be an income generator. And if we were to ever look at the golf again, please let it be after 2023.
I think everyone in golf would agree that doing a review so soon after a previous review just seems a complete and utter waste of time. And it also erodes trust in the council processes and the councillors themselves.
Thanks, Helen. I think that's really useful comments, actually. I'd like to bring Andy back in to answer about the savings, but also ask a question about what income feasibility studies have we had, and can that be fed into P&R?
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I mean, Councillor Cameron will be aware that the work that was done 3 or 4 years ago around golf.
Just to clarify, the review was done in 2019, not 3 or 4 years ago, unless he's talking about the previous review in 2014.
Was on the basis that the service has always operated at a significant subsidy.
And just to come in again, of course, yes, some services do offer a subsidy in order for them to run. That is one of the reasons we have council tax. But also, if we look at the subsidy from some of the other services within leisure, you will find, for example, a swimming pool. If you took that on its own, then there would be a significant subsidy in there as well. However, this is a service to the people of Wirral. This is a service to the ratepayers and council taxpayers of the Wirral.
And there are probably numerous reasons for that, but I would agree with the comments that there is potential there.
We agree also, there is potential there. Let's try and make sure that we capitalise on that potential.
All the municipal courses are at various sort of states of condition, and often what drives golfers to play on them are the conditions. So we're currently we are committed, because these are budget options, and it's not the case that we've given up on golf. There's a survey taking place at the minute.
He is absolutely right. There is a survey going on at the moment within golf. It's an STRI report, the same STRI report from 2017, the same company, with very little outcome from 2017. It was these independent reports that highlighted the conditions of the course back in 2017, nearly 4 years ago. We're still experiencing the same conditions. Why are the councils spending money on a report if they are not going to actually take on its advice?
Of the courses, to identify what needs to be done to bring them up to a good standard or a high standard to get that income that we're talking about. There's also a project being worked on to redevelop the Arrow Park site, and again that looks at, similar to what we talked about with Woodchurch. It's about the provision of a 3G pitch. It's improving the clubhouse there to make it into more of a catering offer and some kind of small sports village on the site. So unfortunately, some of those programs have been delayed through COVID, but it is still a commitment to push those programs forward. In terms of the savings you talked about, Chair, it's around about 180 if we just kept Hoylake and closed the other 3. Now, there are multiple reasons for that. Some is about displacement, so there's an element of people that will go and play on the Hoylake course that would have gone to the others. We also retain quite a few overheads in terms of the leisure management structure, so we'd still need a golf manager, we'd still need maintenance functions, although albeit reduced. But there is nonetheless a saving in closing the other 3.
So just to clarify, and when this goes to P&R, it's actually not 273,000, it's 180 for all the reasons you said.
Sorry, Chair. Yes, and we do have detailed workings for those calculations.
So let's just be clear then, the saving actually isn't £273,000 as was in the budget consultation document that you told us to use the narrative from. Therefore, any results from this budget consultation could be invalid. Yeah,
just to plea that'll go to P&R in an easy, readable format.
Yes.
So it's not actually 273.
It seems strange that they weren't willing to share those detailed workings prior to that? And if those workings were so detailed, why the difference, the 273,000? Surely the council would have known that they were not going to close Hoylake because of the development, the Celtic Manor, and also because of the Open. Why did they not know that? And why is it 180,000 rather than 273? Why was there not the 180 put in the consultation document and a closure of 3 courses rather than the 4?
Right. It's been a very difficult year with COVID. Presumably very little golf has been played, and it could well be that very little golf will be played in the coming year. So it's going to be difficult generating income from these courses at present. I do recall, I was part of the working group looking at the golf courses last year, and a number of recommendations were made. I just wonder, obviously I know we've had COVID, but where are we up to with implementing the recommendations for improvements that the Working Party put forward?
It would be interesting to just tell you a little bit about those recommendations. Just to read those out, the recommendations there were 5 of them. The municipal golf courses at Arrow Park, Brackenwood, Hoylake and the Warren be retained in-house, in other words, in council control. The council commission a ground survey to be carried out at each course, and the capital programme be amended to carry out what comes out of that over the next 8 years. Yes, 8 years. To ensure that each of the courses is brought back up to standard. Number 3, the capital money that was frozen be used in consultation with grounds maintenance staff to provide appropriate equipment, basically to do their jobs properly. A consultative user group be set up to meet once a quarter with each of the golf courses to discuss issues and problems. And finally, that there be no reduction in playing capacity on any of the courses. No reduction in playing capacity. To keep the golf courses in-house. To commission a ground survey and then bring the courses back up to standard. To provide appropriate equipment to allow our green staff to actually do the job in a suitable and a good way to bring those courses to that suitable standard. And of course, consult. Speak to the clubs, speak to the users, speak to the public, making sure that they are always listening to make sure that these courses become profitable.
Thanks, Alan, for that question. Andy, can you update Alan on that?
Yeah, so I think 2 of those recommendations, Councillor Brain, was the what I talked about, which was the development of the sports village.
A development of the sports village was not a recommendation for golf.
To generate income, and the commissioning of a survey to understand what works will be done to make those courses commercially viable, or at least, significantly reduce any sort of subsidised dependency on the courses. So, like I say, that work has started, and it will. We are expecting the first report at the end of this month.
A question to Wirral Council then. When this report comes out, will you actually action the recommendations from this report? Will you do what you did in 2017 and basically sit on the report for far too long without actually doing any work? Some of the recommendations from 2017 are only just in the last 12 months being implemented now.
If you have children, be sure to bury their heads in the sand before you bury your own.
Alongside, we are looking to recruit a head greenkeeper, because some of this is really specialist work in terms of understand it's about course management, but also with a degree of commercial acumen. So we will need a post that is able to both identify what needs doing on the courses, and to be able to keep those programs on track, but also to bring in that commercial income that we're looking for. In terms of golf, what I would say is we did notice a real upsurge in playing after the first lockdown. Now, some of that is about people wanting to do more outdoor things, so sports-wise, and get outdoors. Obviously, golf is a seasonal sport, so if you think about what we've had in terms of rain over the past couple of days, we can't kind of foresee what income might look like over any winter period. So it is about engineering, the courses to be as playable as possible for the whole of the year.
One of the things that came out from the STRI report in 2017 that the council paid for was the poor drainage. Now, this will be highlighted again by one of the councillors, but poor drainage shuts our courses. It shuts our courses, it reduces the income to the council, and therefore the subsidy required is a lot more. Why, may you ask? Well, the STRR report in 2017, which looked at Brackenwood and Arrow Park, and particularly at Brackenwood, they said that they had not seen any single investment, so substantial investment in both irrigation and also the drainage for decades, and they mentioned over 30 years. And as I've already said, if you do not keep investing in these facilities, they will get gradually worse. It is common for throughout the winter period for courses to be shut, not on days, weeks, but sometimes months on end. And I know that the rainfall we've had has contributed to that. However, we also see the course closures even in the summer, and that is down to poor drainage and lack of investment over decades.
But also, again, you know, what are the commercial add-ons we can add to that?
Thanks. If I could just come back on that. Thanks for that comment, Andy. One of the big problems, as I recall, particularly at Brackenwood and to a lesser extent at Hoylake, was drainage. And then I know we've had exceptional rain the last couple of nights, but I'm a bit surprised that it's quite a while since we made that report. I'm surprised that we haven't made more progress on that.
Yeah, some work has taken place at Brackenwood, Councillor Brain, to improve, I think, at least two of the holes that were identified in terms of drainage issues.
Stay here with the kids.
Just to come back in there again, the drainage issues that he mentions at Brackenwood, they actually replaced two new greens. Now, that was the pressure and the encouragement from Brackenwood Golf Club because of the unplayable conditions. Brackenwood Golf Club had to cancel both its Wirral Open, which is not only a money earner for the council, but is also a significant fundraiser for Wirral Hospice St John's, a charity close to ours and many of your hearts. So that is really, really important to us. We also had to cancel twice the municipal championships. The municipal championships brings close to 200 golfers from all over Merseyside for a major championship. And again, the course conditions were so poor, we had to cancel those twice. The two new greens are absolutely excellent. We have to say that. The two new greens have been put down, their drainage is fantastic, but that's because they've been done well. When they took up the green on the second, there actually wasn't any drainage on that green whatsoever, and therefore it was a bit like a water bet. No drainage at all on that second green. There has been no other significant works done to help the drainage at Brackenwood Golf Course.
I couldn't hand on heart to say what else has been done beyond that, other than those things I've alluded to in terms of ongoing improvement works and the commissioning of that survey, but that covers everything from drainage, maintenance, equipment, staffing, and that commercial aspect as well.
Okay, I'm going to take one last question on this, or comment on this. Councillor Stewart.
Yeah, thank you. I just wonder whether it's possible if we have an idea of what golfing brings financially to the borough, because we've heard a lot tonight of the savings that could be made and how much these courses cost us in maintenance, and I'm sure the public would want to know why we face 10 years of austerity, but golf courses have been maintained and kept open. So if there is a business case for that and we are bringing in a lot more money than we're investing, it'd be good to know that. Thanks,
Paul. Andy, can you comment on that and just And on top of that, is there a risk, you know, with the Open about what we do with golf courses if they were to close, excluding Hoylake?
Well, yes, Chair. There is definitely a risk around Hoylake. The Open is estimated to bring in around about £12 million worth of economic benefit to the borough. And again, in terms of that leisure strategy and moving forward, golf is a part of that for us. You know, both utilising the attraction of Wirral as somewhere to come and play golf, but also in terms of development. You know, it's one of those sort of we should be using our status as a host of the Open to encourage more people into golf, or more young people into golf, and help, you know, encourage them to keep that up as a lifetime sort of hobby. Because I think, you know, statistically golf has dropped in recent years in terms of membership, or rather, you know, numbers of people who play, both across municipal and private clubs, incidentally. So, but it is an important sport, and it is an important sport for Wirral, and something we're committed to.
An important sport to Wirral, and something they are committed to. Let's see that commitment.
Thanks for that, Andy. Paul, does that answer your question?
It does. Has there been a cost-benefit analysis? You know, I know that we get the Open here, so we must have an idea of what golf brings in. I just think that, you know, if we're considering whether or not we continue to fund this, I just think that the public would want to know what the cost benefit is, rather than just seeing all the time that, you know, this is costing the council this much, it's a non-statutory service. Without it, what would we lose?
Yes, Chair. Again, you know, we've got all those, you know, we've got all that information around the numbers of players on our own courses, by course, and what that brings in income wise, both in terms of pay and play and across the Invigorate membership scheme.
Okay, I'm going to. Thanks. I see, Cherry, Councillor Powell, you've got your hand up. I'll go on, take your comment, and then we'll move.
I just want to make a comment. I mean, this discussion must be absolutely horrifying people that use these golf courses, because they thought this matter had all been settled last year after the big inquiry.
Well, I absolutely agree, and I'm sure the public and all of the golf clubs would say exactly the same. The Wirral deserves to have municipal courses that the public can play, but we've also got the future of lots of golf clubs that are connected with these courses. There are namely Brackenwood, Arrow Park, the Warren, Hoylake, Airby, West Hoyle. These are all courses that deserve to know that they have a future, having been here for hundreds of years between them. They deserve to know that they have a future too.
I completely agree, and I think I made that representation to P&R, and hopefully those comments have been captured and will be fed to the next P&R after the work we did in the consultation we did last year. You know, it seems disingenuous, really, to use that word to go out again so soon. But that's my personal comment.